Let's get to my Dear Abby article. As I want to be clear, I didn't read any of these articles beforehand. All I read was the headline prior to getting to it. And this is because I believe that I am better at giving advice than any of these writers for the New York Post. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my advice to these situations, my unprofessional and by no means advice that you can claim that I told you to do. Take my advice with a grain for legal reasons. Take my advice with a grain of salt and recognize that I am by no means a professional, an expert. Or am I claiming to be such? So let's get Dear Abby, or in this case, Dear Kev. Should I tell my alcoholic daughter that I took her out of my will? Oh, this sounds like an interesting one. Dear Abby, I'm a single retired grandfather in the South. My daughter, 50, has hitched her wagon to an alcoholic. She's circling the drain and going down with them. My grandsons are adults and scattered around the country. They are lazy, and none of them has a full-time job. We used to keep them during the summers until their mid-teens. Now I don't hear from them unless I call. Then it's just a bunch of one-word answers. Fine, okay, and yeah. My daughter has no retirement savings or company retirement plan. She doesn't call. She lives 4 hours away. I'm certain my home, property, and possessions are their planned retirement accounts. All I need to do is die. I worked my entire life, spanning a couple of careers, and I owe nothing to anyone. I have visions of my possessions being destroyed by a couple alcoholics or sold off for quick cash. I've decided my estate will be donated to my favorite charity, a worthwhile cause where it will truly mean something to people who care. Should I let my daughter and grandkids know now so they have an opportunity to change course and prepare, or let them be surprised after they don't go to my funeral? Disappointed grandpa in Florida. This is a really sad story, and I also do not think uh, that I also don't think that that this is an uncommon story. I do believe there's people, not necessarily always an alcoholic, but I don't believe that this is something that like doesn't happen that often. That's a double negative. I believe this is something that happens more often than people would like to admit. That in some way there's an estranged child, whether they took a wrong path or a differing path than the parent would have hoped for, and they could see their uh, their possessions and everything they plan on passing on to their next generation as being in some way wasted. What I would say is that if you value those things, but you don't believe that a comparable value would be given and placed upon it by your current beneficiaries, then yes, you are absolutely justified in in doing all that. But that wasn't even the question. The question is, should he tell her? It's up to you. If your children and grandchildren can't bother to give you more than one word answer, then do they even deserve more than that one word? That's what I'd say. But ultimately, it's up to you, and I by no means am I any kind of expert. So let's get to this next one. Dear Abby, I recently met a man who, even though he asked me to sit down and have a coffee with him, then said he isn't marriage or dating minded. I decided to avoid him, and I'm trying to rid my thoughts of him. But it's difficult because I feel drawn to him. The last time I saw him, I sat down with him and he asked to hold my hand. I understand that in dating we may find out that we're not going to get married, but we haven't dated yet. I suppose I appreciate that he's admitting he already knows he doesn't like me enough to marry me. But why ask to hold my hand then? Why ask me to sit down for coffee? It's hard to meet men where I live, and it has been a long time since I was in a serious relationship. To meet someone who seems like a good catch and then be told this is upsetting. Is he playing hard to get? Mixed messages in Pennsylvania. I don't know the context of how you know this person, but I would say he's keeping you on the line. This is what I would say. If he's not willing to make a commitment to you, but at the same time, he's still asking you out for coffee, wants to engage in some way physically, even if it's just hand holding, and wants to act out portions of a dating couple, he's keeping you on the line. He's being upfront so he doesn't hurt his conscience. so that at the end of it, he can say, well, I told you we weren't dating. I told you we weren't getting married. I told you none of that was happening. But at the same time, he believes he has some kind of need. He has need for, I don't know, in this case, hand holding, which I believe might be a euphemism for something else because this person must have not wanted to actually uh, admit what she did. This person is still going out to coffee with them. What I believe is that the person, mixed messages here, has low self esteem. And part of that is because she has not been valued, which isn't entirely her fault, but thus has also adopted a belief that she has less value and is willing to subject herself to somebody who, from the beginning, says that her value to him is limited. And the messages he's sending are not mixed. They are clear. You're a placeholder for when somebody comes along that's better to him. You're being used. Avoid him. As much as he might be nice to your face, he's not really that nice of a guy. But I don't know him, and I'm not a professional. So take what I say with a grain of salt. That's what I believe. Anyways, that's my Dear Abby for this week, everybody. That's everything I have for the show for this week. If you guys like that I did, I noticed I seem to get some more interaction from later shows where I started this one a little bit later. I don't know if this will always work within my schedule, but if you do like that I'm starting a little bit later for this show, I started closer to 7 p.m. tonight, Central Standard Time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of this video, whether you're watching it now live or you watch it later. I'm curious. What time would you guys want to watch live? Because I like to have the comment section going. I like seeing things like this comment. The 3-month rule for the dating. Absolutely. Absolutely. See about a commitment. See about opportunity. Don't waste your time, sister. When a man tells you he doesn't want a relationship, he doesn't. True. She wants him to be who she wants him to be. Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody, don't forget, you can always comment even after I'm done live on anything, whether you watched live or not. You can comment after this is done if you maybe thought of something later, or I didn't get to see your first comment, anything like that. Don't be afraid to comment. I try to respond as much as possible, especially if there's a question asked or anything like that. But I'm going to get out of here for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video through liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing. As always, I'm praying for you. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you so much for tuning in to Speechless.